The sighting of a fugitive at a residence north of Minnetonka Thursday drew a large police response lasting hours, but ended early Friday without an arrest. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, the incident started around 6 p.m. when a Scottsbluff County Sheriff's deputy saw Lance Gibbons go into a large two-story farmhouse on Highland Road east of County Road 31. An arrest warrant had been issued for Gibbons back in April after he failed to appear for sentencing on amended charges stemming from an October 2021 incident in which he was accused of an armed invasion at a residence east of Scottsbluff. More deputies, troopers with the Nebraska State Patrol, and police officers from Minnetonka, Scottsbluff, Gering, and Mitchell responded, and for hours, officers called out for Gibbons to surrender, and the SWAT team was called in as night fell and drones kept watch from above. After a search warrant was obtained, the SWAT team entered around midnight and cleared the structure, but Gibbons was nowhere to be found. Sheriff Mark Overman says it's believed Gibbons was able to escape during the 8 minutes from the initial sighting to the arrival of backup.
So the deputy believed that he was in the house. Didn't think that he could have got away, but we had one deputy out here and it was some about 8 minutes till the second deputy got here, and you can see the terrain around here is something that if somebody could get out, maybe they could get away.
Well, occupants of a mobile home in Scottsbluff were displaced by a fire Thursday evening. Scottsbluff Fire was called to the Bluebird Trailer Court on 5th Avenue, finding the structure heavily involved. Gering Fire provided mutual aid to extinguish the flames, and firefighter ministry was called in to take care of the occupants' immediate needs. The trailer was a total loss. We'll have more news right after this.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether it is building, buying, or renovating, we have the home loan or home equity line of credit to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back. NU President Ted Carter has unveiled a proposed 2022-2023 operating budget that would again freeze tuition rates for all students for the second year. The proposed budget, which will go before the Board of Regents at its June 23rd meeting, would limit year-over-year growth to 1.3% to complete the 3-year system-wide plan to manage fiscal challenges created by COVID-19 while positioning the university for long-term success. The proposal does include modest fee increases for more investment in mental health services and funding for faculty and staff salary increases. It also includes expanded investment in the Nebraska Promise program, under which qualifying Nebraska students with family incomes of $65,000 or less can attend the university tuition-free, with more than 7,000 students currently qualified. Carter said the budget work the past 3 years leaves the NU system well-positioned to help produce the workforce, research, and services Nebraska needs to thrive. Well, Lake McConaughey and Lake Ogallala state recreation areas are fully booked for this upcoming 4th of July weekend for overnight campgrounds, including beach campsites. Day use activities such as fishing, boating, swimming, kayaking, paddleboarding, hiking, and bird watching remain available with no capacity limits. Here locally, Lake Minnetonka's full electric RV sites are just about fully booked, but primitive camping spots are still available. And the Kimball and Sydney airports are the only Nebraska facilities on the latest list of Airport Improvement Program grants issued by the FAA. According to a release from the Nebraska Department of Transportation, Kimball will receive $3.7 million to rehabilitate the runway at the Kimball Municipal Airport from the second round of fiscal year 2022 AIP grants. The Sydney Municipal Airport will receive just under $675,000 for rehabilitation of the hangar at the facility. Nebraska Director of Aeronautics Ann Rickert says the improvements will allow both facilities to continue to be an effective economic driver for the communities and for the Panhandle. Well, coming up in just a little bit, we'll take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. KNEB.TV News will be back right after this.
A community is connections, friends, family, schools, teams. At Allo, we're honored to be a part of your community. As members of the community, we're committed to ensuring people stay connected to the services they need. That's why we're participating in the FCC's Affordable Connectivity Program. We're providing discounts on any internet service option with Allo to qualifying households. Go to allofiber.com/ACP to learn more.
Are you looking for the perfect place to hold a wedding, family reunion, holiday office party, or business meeting? Well, look no further. The Hampton Inn and Suites Hotel and Conference Center is just the place for you. We're a full-service banquet facility that can host up to 400 of your guests. Stop in and see our spacious open-concept meeting rooms and begin planning your special event or family gathering today. Let us do the work for you so you can enjoy your guests. For personal service, stop by the Hampton Inn and Suites front desk.
This is John. He's not an actor or a director. Can you tell? He calls himself a steward of the land. And by the looks of the way he nurtures his little corner of the earth, it's safe to say he's the real deal. John runs with us on a John Deere 3 Series tractor because you can never underestimate the value of a little tractor time. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Visit 21st Century Equipment in Alliance, Torrington, Scottsbluff, and Bridgeport, or visit 21stcenturyequipment.com.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Welcome to this week's Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network. We know that last week was quite the interesting marketing week, and we're going to take a look at not only the huge kills that were there, but the talk about packers. Are they short bought? Are they making money in all of this, and what it means to our cattle producers? And then the recession. We know the recession's been a definite talk. How is it affecting the industry? Are we already just dealing with it as expected? Lots of things that we're going to talk about today. As you can see, Brad Koima is joining us. He is with Koima and Varlick out of Sioux Center, Iowa. So got to start out this huge kill of last week. Did that catch you by surprise as you started to see the numbers add up?
Well, I think it caught everybody a little bit by surprise. And to be blunt about it, these guys don't kill these cattle unless they have the meat sold and or the demand to do it. And of course, there has to be an available supply. But, what we've seen the last few weeks in particular, Susan, as we've talked about before, is we've seen huge kill, declining weights, or pulling cattle forward, right? It felt like we were, but it's certainly nice to see the proof in the numbers. And, the other part of the deal is these packers still enjoy very, very big margins, estimated around $300 a head. I guess I think that's conservative for some of the integrated. I mean, the fully integrated ones. The fact that they still have this kind of a willingness to take on the supply of cattle and pull the weight off is very, very encouraging to me. Your prelim there, you talked about a little bit of the recession curve, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, I think, deeper into the program. But at least now, we can, if we have a full blown down and dirty recession, demand will be worse. But if you want to take the Polaroid of today, boxes are $270. Hamburger is priced extremely competitively with chicken and pork. It really is, because those others are really high. And on the other side of Father's Day, we always slow down the middle meats, so we'll see. I remember last year we talked about, we're going to slow down the middle meats, right? That's always a steak demand. It's a hot dog deal now. And we didn't, because the only good thing I can think of about COVID, but the one thing that came out of that is we retrained, or we changed the paradigm there, where the folks are eating a lot more stuff at home rather than at hotel restaurant stuff. And so last summer we didn't see much of a drop off at all. I'm curious to see. Obviously, I know $6 gas, yada yada, is a concern. But in the here and now, the short-term fundamentals are very encouraging.
As you look at the macros of this trade, what catches your attention? Recession.
This is above my pay grade. I'm not an economist. I'm a cattle nerd. But I'm told, and I've looked back at other years, if you go into deep recession historically, yes, the cattle market struggles. Now, on the other side of that, often when you start talking about, going into recession, the only way you can tell when you're into it or out of it is when it's behind you. Okay. So, my sense would be that we're already well into it. I think that, to me, the gas thing is the absolute tip of the spear here. The cost of travel, if that cuts into the disposable income for somebody, are we going to go on vacation, or are we going to not go out to eat? Or it's real. Now, crude oil prices are sharply higher today, new contract highs. They're not worried about it, right? So I guess I'm going to treat the cattle market on the fundamentals that I believe in, and that is that we've got cattle pulled forward, that there's less cattle in the north, that the packer wants to kill as many as he can get his hands on, and the futures are at a $10 discount to what I got for cash cattle last week. So to me, the cattle have a fair bit of this built in. They've got a large discount built in my estimation.
So as you talk, since we're starting to talk the recession, how do you see this affecting not only the cattle market from the sense of purchases from consumers, but for our cattle producers?
It hasn't slowed down the feeder cattle buyers, by golly. Those feeders have been hired in a giraffe's dentist the last little while. Nothing personal to you ranchers out there, but it'd be interesting. There's a couple of videos at the end of the week this week. Will give us a little more indication of what some of us are willing to pay come fall delivery. My expectation of that's a good question, and I don't have a good answer for you. But I can only think of how I tend to think of things. Then, I tend to get much more hand to mouth. I'm not going to buy any more feeder cattle out there in the unknown, because I don't know what my cost of gain is going to be. I don't know what interest rates are going to be. I don't know, so I'm going to be a little more hand to mouth in that regard. And I can't imagine that I'm the odd one here. I would think that even if I was fairway, you'd go like, well, maybe we better not buy a month's worth of ribeyes. Let's buy what we need for next week, which causes a little bit of a problem. But then you also get the secondary impact like you had last year, or last week, rather, when we had sharply higher cash prices. Nobody needs to kid anybody, 3 to 5 higher on cash cattle in my neck of the woods. And it was largely because I think the packers kind of overplayed that. Well, we better kind of wait and see. And like, oh crap, I need to buy cattle, and so it can work both ways. Certainly the fact that rising interest rates, this is not news. I mean, come on. We've been talking about the interest rates are going to go up. We've been talking about for months. Just do it.
Right.
I wish they would have got on board with it sooner, right? And slowed this thing down sooner. So some of this, I'm going like, why now do you care about it? We've been hearing about it in the news so much. But, I tend to be a guy that I'm rooting for the cattle to get up and out of here, obviously. So you can temper all my comments with that. But the recession fear is real. If it was just up to cattle, we'd be just fine, in my opinion.
So are the Packers short bought?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
are they, and are they trying to, obviously they want to make money, but how do you see that all playing together?
Well, I think some of them are extremely short bought. There's been plenty of stories that, people I know, cattle that get sold Friday and they got delivered on Monday. Sold last Wednesday, got delivered last Thursday. I think if you remember, there was quite a bit of contracted cattle done for June. The performance on these cattle have been good all the way since last winter. So let's just take a hypothetical. Let's say you had cattle contracted for June at 2 over the June futures. There's lots of that done. So the Packer, June's at 134. So the Packer can call those in and pay 136 for the cattle. The market last week was 143. Why wouldn't that Packer pull on all those cattle and pull them ahead? And I think that's what's happened. So you've used up that inventory. They've used up their available supply. Now they've got to turn to the open market and chase. I think barring some total meltdown on futures, I think they'll do that again this week, chase, and the market will be fully steady to higher.
All right. Lots of things we're going to look at going into next week. Post Father's Day. By the way, happy Father's Day early to you.
Thank you.
All right, that has been this week's Cattle Call. As always, we remind folks commodity futures and options involve a substantial risk of loss that isn't suitable to all investors. And that's been the Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network.
High Plains Auto Club presents the 23rd Annual Father's Day Rock and Roll Classic. Friday, June 17th. Registration begins at 2 p.m. at the Gearing Civic Center with a welcome barbecue, cruise for cash, and ice cream social. Saturday, June 18th, parade at 9 a.m., show and shine from 10 to 4, and awards banquet. To enter, go to highplainsautoclub.com or call 308-765-2418. This event is sponsored by Dairy Queen, Dooley Oil, and KNEB Rural Radio Network.
Well, let's take a peek at what's happening on your weekend community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. First State Bank is now Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the same people you know and trust.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, the 20th Annual Festival of Hope is coming up this Saturday at the Scottsbluff County Fairgrounds in Mitchell. It all kicks off with a silent auction and Knights of Columbus breakfast at 7 a.m. and the 5K walk run gets underway at 7:30. Dr. Vince Buerling says it's amazing to see this organization and its impact grow over the course of 2 decades.
Yeah, I think we're really looking forward to it, and it's a real celebration for us because 20 years of helping people out in our community and in the region and seeing the impact we've had. I think that's been one of the really neat things about it, and also the fact that it has so much community support. I think that's been really satisfying. It's not just been, a few donors here and there, and also it gives the people the ability that once they've accessed the funds and they get back on their feet, they can give back to Festival of Hope and help somebody else and pay it forward.
A live auction early Saturday afternoon will be followed by the final reading of the names on the Wall of Hope. The release of the live butterflies will take place following the reading of the names. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you back here on Monday.